Hi all, welcome to the next episode of Under the Skin. I'm really pleased to be joined by youngster Vikai Kelley. Vikai is one of our youngest guests on this show to date and has had a wonderful career thus far. He's played England for the under-17s indoor side. He's played for Warwickshire now in his first professional game in a T20 Blast, and has come from Staffordshire and Ford Houses Cricket Club. So welcome to you, Vikai.
Thank you very much, Anish.
No worries, mate. So yeah, same question I asked to all my guests, really. How have you been keeping during the lockdown, and how's things been for you and the family?
So yeah, I've had the privilege of I'm still training. So in the academy, we're training 3 times a week at Edgbaston, and then in the times that I'm not training, it's really catching up on my schoolwork and making sure keeping that side locked down.
Yep. No, man, that's cool. I mean, yeah, training 3 times a week. I mean, I said it to Luke the other day, but I'm sure there's so many people out there would love to be doing something, rather than just being in their house. So it's absolutely brilliant to hear that you're doing that and you're still getting ready for the up and coming season. I mean, I'm not sure how many of the people out there know, but obviously, like, you've come from what I would call playing indoor for us 2 years ago, and how quickly your career has developed is absolutely incredible. And it's a testament to you and the way that, you've grown up as an individual and how you've honed in your skills and how well you're doing. So that's always brilliant to see, mate. I mean, let's talk about that. So I think I first met you in 2017, and that was kind of building up to the World Cup that you were traveling to with the juniors. So we're in Christchurch, and the first thing that I can particularly remember about that was I was actually put on your team's bus going to the hotel. Now there was these 3 chaps at the back of the bus. You were one of them. It was Jamal Sadiq and Josh Sarrett, and you're there. You have your I think you can call it music or whatever it was that you guys were playing at the back, and you were extremely rowdy. And then what I want to know to start off with is you're walking into that indoor center for the first time, how that kind of hit you, because you guys were up and bubbly and quite a rowdy little bunch. But how was that, walking in? It's that first World Cup game.
Yeah, I think it was quite intimidating at the start because you don't realize how many people are actually around you, like from different countries all around the world. There's so many people watching, and you kind of think you don't really want to mess up. Do you know what I mean? So I think that pressure and that feeling inside is quite unique. It's quite scary, but then at the same time, you are in a competition and you're not going to show that fear that you have, or you're not going to show that pressure. So you just got to put a brave face on, really. But that feeling was quite overwhelming. But I guess
interesting.
It's just how you deal with that.
Yeah. I mean, I want to touch on that a little bit later on, actually, at that that mental side of the indoor game and how it, how you coped with it ultimately. But I want to start with this question, right? Because you're obviously a wicket keeper. You're keeping now for Warwickshire. You're doing a great job. But most people don't realise that for a wicket keeper, you bowl some really, really good leg spin. And I've heard some interviews with Steve Smith and stuff in the past where he said that, look, he had to give that up because just how much time it takes to be a good leg spinner. But you seem to do it without any practice at all. So where did you learn to bowl leggies, and how do you keep bowling it so well?
Yeah, to be fair, before I was a keeper, so from the age of 6 up until under 9s, I'd be a pace bowler, and then as I started trialing for the district side and the county side, I just turned into a keeper, just because I was always a good fielder, so I had pretty good hands. So then I turned into a keeper at quite a young age, and then pretty much during junior training and net sessions, I'd just roll my arm over, bowl some seam, and then that got a bit tiring. So I just started bowling spin in the nets.
Yeah,
literally bowling spin in the nets, and it came out all right. Playing in the garden a lot always helped. And then it just got better and better. And then when you keep bowling in the nets or you keep doing something, you're gonna get better at it. So I've always had a skill of bowling anyway. So bowling leg spin, I think this came quite natural to me.
Yeah, man. I mean, and I've played with you. I played against you. I've watched you play, and it comes out absolutely beautifully. So credit to you for that. I mean, it's a hard skill to learn, and obviously you've done that really well. I mean, do you ever find yourself bowling a few in the nets at the Warwickshire with the lads, or is it
Nah,
just keeping?
they don't let me.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, so we're in Christchurch. So we're there. We're in New Zealand. It must be. Was that your first ever abroad tour? Or have you been on abroad tours before that?
I'd been to the West Indies with Staffordshire under-13s.
Okay.
We had like a tour out there to Barbados and Trinidad. I went there twice, and that was unreal as well.
Cool. So you'd been on tour, so you kind of knew roughly what to expect. But in terms of playing the indoor game, how has it helped you? How has playing indoor, whether it be World Cup, whether it be National League, being part of the EPP indoor program, etc., how has that helped you become a better outdoor player?
I think with keeping, it's helped me loads. I think no matter who the bowler is, as a keeper indoor, you're standing up to the stumps. So obviously that always helps outdoor. I think especially when you play higher and higher, if like a batter's really coming out of their crease or keeps dancing on the track and the bowler gives you that call up to come up to the stumps, you've got to be prepared for that. You can't be like, look, I don't really want to. You kind of just have to do it. And I think when you're up to the stumps frequently indoor, especially to like the quicker bowlers, it kind of gives you skills and practice that you kind of need.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, those that haven't played it before or don't know, the yellow ball tends to swing a lot more both ways. Obviously, it tends to bounce more, it tends to spin more. So obviously, that's a challenge in itself. Obviously, standing up to the stumps, and obviously improves your reactions and also how you're moving behind the stumps, I guess. In terms of your batting now.
I think batting wise, one thing is, if the people didn't know, when you play indoor, you need to play the ball like extremely late in order to hit the ball into the floor, and give yourself more time to run. So, a lot of people, when you're playing outdoor cricket, if you're training indoors, you'll start playing the ball on the up, and it's quite easy to play indoor cricket as the ball's coming onto the bat really well. But the moment you go outside and the pitch is doing a bit and sticking in the pitch and stuff, you need to play very late and under your eyes at the start of the season. And I think playing indoor enables you to do that. I think it gives you this skill of playing the ball right under your eyes. And I think that's a good habit to get into, especially at the start of the season.
Yeah, and I
then,
mean, sorry, mate, go on, carry on.
I was just going to say, like, hitting gaps as well, because obviously there's fielders all around the bat. So knowing like where to place the ball and what's the best place it ball to get most runs.
Yeah, I mean, look, and I all of those points are really, really brilliant, and obviously have helped you massively. And I'm a big fan of playing it late under your eyes. I say it all the time, but Kane Williamson, some of the best players in the world, like they all seem to play the ball a lot later, have so much time. So it's just a common feature. Good cricketers, good batters, playing the ball nice and late, especially in the red ball format. In terms of obviously watching the ball as well, I don't know whether the viewers know, but obviously action indoor cricket, you don't wear pads. You don't wear a helmet. You just go with gloves in a box. So you have to watch that ball all the way onto the bat so that you're not, getting hit on the legs, and someone bowls short at you, you don't get hit in the head. Obviously, you're watching the ball nice and close. So that's something that's quite cool. And touching on what we started with at the start of this conversation, I mean, the mental side of it. So it was overwhelming, it was scary, and you have to put on a brave face. One thing that you did really, really well in that tournament was that poker face. Like, obviously the side as a whole generally struggled at that age group. There's a lot of brilliant teams from Australia, obviously New Zealand, South Africa, who've been playing it for many, many, many years. But one thing I remember was about how you went about your game in terms of your attitude and your the way you just had account of yourself, really, and nothing seemed to phase you. So how has it helped you with that? And obviously playing in those scenarios, talk about that, and then how it's helped you into the way you are now.
Yeah, I think what I did was literally when I was batting, because the crowd were making so much noise and the other team were making so much noise, I kind of just saw it as white noise in my head. I kind of used to sing a song to myself. I can't remember which one it was, but you just sing a song to myself and just kind of block everything else out and just kind of focus on what I needed to do. I think playing in them situations, it gets your heart going. Like you're under pressure, and being in that situation, it kind of gets you prepared for, you know, facing the last over in the game or outdoors or anything. I think being in that situation is a big learning curve, especially when there's so much pressure and there's so many people watching, and that, like, you know, fear of failure, or it's twofold in the way that it comes out in the indoor game and in the outdoor game.
Yeah, man, that's really well said, to be fair. And those that have been, you know, those that are playing indoor currently and have been to these tournaments will know exactly what it's like when you playing in that indoor center on the other side of the world, and there's 3 or 4 courts there and 7 or 8 different countries around all at the same time in that building. There's lots of noise, lots of atmosphere, and it's a bit different to outdoor in the sense that those 8 players you're playing against are literally in your face. They're not on the inner ring, you know, 30 meters away. They're within 10 meters of you. And they are obviously letting you have it as you would in outdoor with the sledging and other things. So it's a completely different task, obviously, trying to take on these things. Now, that series in Christchurch, what was it like as an overall experience? So not so much in terms of your technique or you know, batting, bowling, fielding, but as an experience as a whole, from the day we landed to when we left. Yeah, what was that like for you?
I think it was an amazing experience, to be honest, especially the location we're in. I think Christchurch is such a beautiful place. And then on top of that, like, I love being in that team setting as well. Like being with the lads, like pretty much all day, every day, you know, like from, you know, being in someone else's room, just chilling, and then going for some food, walking down to the shops, and then being on the coach on the way down, just doing everything together. It was class. And then especially having, obviously not forgetting the cricket side of it, you know, like being in that competition and that sense of real competitiveness. It was class.
Yeah, and obviously we have that opportunity in the World Cups where obviously you don't go on your own. Like when the England side go abroad, it's the England side go to a World Cup and they're playing against the other 12 countries. When we do our indoor World Cups, you know, we're taking 4 England sides at a time at different age groups. So you have that camaraderie with the other sides as well. So US-17s, there was obviously a 15s, 13s, and a 17s girls side. So you have that, you know, friendship being made and all kinds of stuff. So it's absolutely brilliant. You know, in terms of that, so did you learn a lot, like, about yourself, you know, coming away? I know obviously mom and dad came to watch, but they weren't with us, you know, they weren't with us in the hotel, they weren't with us at all. As a 17-year-old coming abroad, what did you get from that in terms of life skills?
I think I learned how like together I could be. I think everyone, like, you know, everyone's got mates and everyone likes going out, but I think we were such a team, we were so together. I think it kind of surprised all of us how tight knit we actually were, because we didn't have much time together as a team before, like prior to that tour. So I think having like all the lads with us and being so close, it was a not a shock to everyone, but everyone was kind of like over the moon on how well we were getting along. So I think we were all at that stage where we were growing up, and it was just good to be away from the family and just have that camaraderie. Yeah.
Yeah, because you've got quite a big family unit, right?
Yeah, I've got 2 brothers, my mom and dad, and I live with my granddad as well.
Yeah, so obviously being away, and obviously you're at home, obviously you're with them all the time, and then to be
Yeah.
away, yeah, I can imagine what it was like. And um yeah, well, obviously you boys, the 17s obviously have a bit more freedom than the rest of the sides, but yeah, it's good to get out and explore Christchurch and see what, you know, those places have to offer, really. So, you know, that's always one of the best things about it. So we're coming back from that. You come back from New Zealand, you're back in the UK, and this is kind of the last thing about indoor really I have for you. But you then playing for Jamaica when you came back, and we had 2 Jamaica sides playing at that time. What was it like playing under Zar and Ak and those guys at Jamaica? How did that help you? Because obviously they've been one of the more successful sides in our national comps, you know, over the last 10 years, 20 years. But as a youngster, a young 17, 18-year-old, what was it like coming into that squad?
Yeah, I think it was class to play with them, like kind of legends of the game. Do you know what I mean? I think them guys are so experienced and know exactly what they should be talking about and thinking, and it was good to be a part of that. Like just the discussions they were having, you take so much from them, like what they're thinking about. Like I was just trying to unpick everyone's brain, really. I think when you come across someone with so much experience in the game, you only want to learn as much as you can from them. So yeah, it was good to play that high standard, and it was good to be involved with them kind of people.
Yeah, man, I couldn't agree more. Same for me, to be honest. When I moved in 2015, I think it was, to Jamaica, same for me. Like, listening to what they have to say about the game and working with people that have played it a different way potentially, or have different takes on things, is really interesting. Whether that be indoor or outdoor, it's something that young players should all really do, is take on advice that other people have given, and see where you can head with that. So last year, obviously, horrible year in terms of what happened around the country, but yeah, you made your debut for Warwickshire, T20 Blast. From what I remember, you took 2 brilliant stumpings. What was it like making your debut for the Bears?
Yeah, it was like a dream come true. It was surreal, to be honest. Like, I remember the day, like everything that happened. Um, I was literally in my room playing PS4, and then I get a phone call off Jim Troughton, like the first team coach at the time, and then literally kind of said, like, get to Edgbaston ASAP. You're gonna play later.
Yeah.
And then it was like manic in the house. I told my brother, he was phoning my dad. Then I had to go meet my other brother in town, because that's where he works, to get his car. And then everyone had to. It was all crazy. And then we got to Edgbaston, got on the team bus, and then it was just from there. I think the nerves were like, obviously I was really nervous, but the moment I kind of stepped onto the pitch, I just kind of thought of it as another game of cricket. I think if I thought of it as anything else, I wouldn't be able to perform. I probably would have froze up. But I think the way I went about it was really good, and it was amazing experience.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, you've been in high pressure environments before, so you kind of knew how to handle it from previous experiences, which is absolutely great. And yeah, I loved watching the live stream of it, and the chances that you took. I thought it was brilliant, and a brilliant advertisement for the indoor game, and obviously yourself. Obviously, you've then obviously played a lot of second team cricket at Warwickshire, and I just wanted to ask about a young lad. So there's a lad called Ali Tazim, who's obviously in the England under-15s indoor setup at the minute on the EPP program, and he's been playing a lot with the twos. And I watched some of the combined dismissals that you and him had last year, whether it be nick-offs or stumpings. And 15 years old, leggy. Tell us about him.
Yeah, I think Taz is class for like the age that he has and the kind of the maturity he has on the pitch. I think I haven't seen a player with that kind of skill level and control of the cricket ball from a player as young as he is.
Yeah,
I think and like people might think he's played second team cricket just because they want to give a young lad a chance, but he's genuinely deserved that spot. So and to be fair, he's taken it. He's bowled really well, took some wickets in the second team. So I think he's a class talent.
Yeah, definitely one to watch for the future. And I mean, you should have seen him playing 15 Super League last year. Like, they just can't pick him. I mean, I don't know what it's like keeping, but that googly comes out really, really well. So yeah, look, obviously Ali might see this, but we're wishing him the best of luck just as much as we are you. So yeah, you're in this Warwickshire setup now. It's all going well. Obviously some absolute legends to come from Warwickshire, Ian Bell, Jonathan Trott. Have you had a chance to work with any of these guys, and have they given you any tips that might be useful to, other young players too?
So yeah, I've worked with Ian Bell. He's obviously done some coaching with the England under-19 stuff, and pretty much starting from a couple of weeks ago, he's been coming in once a week, trying to come in once a week on a Friday, and just kind of obviously do what all the other coaches are doing and just coach us. And yeah, he's classy. He's like looking up to him as a kid anyway, and then for him to again, like I played with him like in that one game, I was keeping with Ian Bell standing that slip. It was amazing. And then for him to come and coach us as well, it's great. And the things he says, especially like it's quite personal to you, as in obviously if he speaks about your technique and things that you've got to do to improve, but there's certain things about like working hard, and attitude is really important. So anything that comes out of his mouth is just gold dust, really.
Yeah, I mean, look, one of the 2005 Ashes heroes, and one of England's best ever batsmen, and probably the best cover drive in the game, So yeah, I'm sure that's absolutely incredible to be listening to him and taking everything on board. So in terms of you, is there any advice for young keepers that, who want to make it to professional cricket that you'd give them?
I think one big thing in cricket is just attitude. I think there's been a lot of sessions where I've gone to, and sometimes, you know, people are like, you're tired, you're contemplating whether you actually want to go. And I think if you've got that attitude and, you know, like hardworking mentality, I think you can get so much out of such a simple session. It's about how you do that. So I think if you've got the right attitude, and I think everyone, you get a lot of talented kids. I think skill only takes you so far, but then that drive and that good attitude will take you further.
Yeah, no, well said. Really good advice. And now if I asked you, so straight up, if I asked you, what would you say to any, you know, juniors who asked you if it's a good idea for them to play indoor? What would you say?
Yeah, I'd say definitely get involved. I think obviously there's so many transferable skills that you know, improve both aspects of your game, but as well as that, it's so enjoyable. It's class to play. So I'd advise to people to get into it.
Brilliant. And last question of the day, really, from me. But you know, what are you working on currently to get yourself ready for the season? Anything specific, you know, get you ready?
I've been doing a bit of work on power hitting, just hitting some bombs, and I've been working a lot on less technical stuff and more, you know, like mental skills and what I should be talking about at the crease, and, you know, like being in different situations and scenarios. So I think that's a big part of the game as well, like knowing when to take the game deep and things like that.
Awesome, man. That sounds so good. And yeah, we're looking forward to seeing how you go this summer. Obviously, you're in competition with one of my mates, Michael Burgess, you know, I went to uni with. So another fantastic player. But yeah, we're looking forward to wishing you all the best and watching you play and seeing how your career develops. And obviously looking forward to seeing you on the indoor court when time allows. That would be absolutely brilliant. So thank you for your time. And that advice you've given for the juniors is absolutely brilliant. So thanks a lot, mate.
Cheers, Anish.